Hey everybody, I'm Taylor.
And I'm Candace.
This is the Candor Podcast where we speak the truth in love.
Today we will be talking about Gnosticism, which is a set of beliefs that became popular in the 2nd century. Although it may seem odd talking about something that was started so long ago, some of its tenets are very much alive today. It's important to note that there are so many different versions of Gnosticism, but right now we will just cover a few points. Toward the end of the episode, we will illustrate how some of these ideas are present in some movies released not so long ago.
According to BibleHub.com, here are some basics to get us started. Gnosticism is a term used to describe a diverse set of religious and philosophical beliefs that emerged from the early centuries of the Christian era. These beliefs are characterized by the emphasis on gnosis, a Greek word meaning knowledge. Gnosticism posits that salvation is achieved through esoteric knowledge of spiritual truths, which are accessible only to a select few. This knowledge is believed to liberate the soul from the material world, which is often viewed as inherently evil or flawed.
The creation account is very different compared to the Bible's. The world was not created by a good, holy God, but there was corruption put into it from the very beginning. This is what the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy has to say about it. According to Gnostic mythology in general, we humanity are existing in this realm because a member of the transcendent Godhead, Sophia, wisdom, desired to actualize her innate potential for creativity without the approval of her partner or divine consort. Her hubris in this regard stood forth as raw materiality, and her desire, which was for the mysterious, ineffable Father, manifested itself as Yaldabaoth, the demiurge, that renegade principle of generation and corruption which, by its unaltered necessity, brings all beings to life, for a brief moment and then to death for eternity.
So in other words, the goddess Sophia wasn't supposed to create without permission, and so this evil demiurge came into being. Later on in this passage, we are told that the demiurge has enslaved some divine sparks, or pieces of gods, into some humans. As you delve into the details of the system of beliefs, it begins to look familiar. There are many in the culture who will tell you to look within, to find your true self, as if that could lead to salvation. The created world is seen as evil, and something that must be escaped by some sort of enlightenment or higher consciousness. Some have also called this obtaining a Christ consciousness.
There is also a difference in who Satan is shown to be. In their account, Satan is the good one in the story. Here's an excerpt from the article called "There's a Version of the Garden of Eden Told from the Serpent's Perspective." Common in the Gnostic Gospels is the portrayal of the serpent as a paragon of truth and knowledge rather than a manifestation of evil and deception. This serpent is a liberator who wants to provide Adam and Eve with wisdom by encouraging them to eat from the tree of knowledge. The creature is seen as a herald of enlightenment and truth, doing his best to fight back against a dictatorial deity. We are also told later on in this article that this Gnostic version of God is shown as a villain in the story who wanted to withhold the knowledge from humanity.
We are told by Christianity.com how the Gnostics believed that they would find salvation. A divine spark is somehow trapped in some, but not all, humans, and it alone, of all that exists in this material world, is capable of redemption. Salvation is through a secret knowledge by which individuals come to know themselves, their origin, and their destiny.
Some accounts of this belief system even say that Christ was the snake in the Garden of Eden, giving Adam and Eve the secret forbidden knowledge. Other Gnostics claim that Sophia, also known as the divine feminine, provides knowledge. The article Gnosticism Definition and Beliefs illustrates who some of the Gnostics said Jesus was. Gnostics were divided on their beliefs about Jesus Christ. One view held that he only appeared to have human form, but that he was actually spirit only. The other view contended that his divine spirit came upon his human body at baptism and departed before the crucifixion. Christianity, on the other hand, holds that Jesus was fully man and fully God, and that his human and divine natures were both present and necessary to provide a suitable sacrifice for humanity's sin.
These dangerous ideas were sneaking their way into the early church. It was very problematic because there was a different Jesus entirely. Their Jesus was not one that paid for sins, but helped them find their inner God within themselves. At its core, this is satanic. BibleHub gives us Bible verses from topicalbible.org and that are related to how the apostles fought Gnosticism in the early church. We've seen 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 20 to 21, that Paul was warning Timothy about trying to find this hidden knowledge. Timothy, guard what has been entrusted to your care. Turn away from godless chatter and the opposing ideas of what is falsely called knowledge, which some have professed in so doing have departed from the faith.
There are those in some churches that rely more on signs and wonders and revelations than what God has already told us in His Word. In 1 John 4, we're told to test every spirit. There are many spirits, but not all are from God. Verses 1 through 3 tell us, "Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. This is how you can recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, but every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming and even now is already in the world."
We also see similar warnings in Colossians 2. In verse 8 we read, "See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the elemental spiritual forces of this world rather than on Christ." The verses continue on in verse 18 to tell of those who focus on the spiritual apart from God's will. "Do not let anyone who delights in false humility and the worship of angels disqualify you. Such a person also goes into great detail about what they have seen. They are puffed up with idle notions by their unspiritual mind."
It's very important that we keep up our guard when it comes to ideas of trying to receive extra biblical revelation. They are still sneaking into the church even thousands of years after they were formed. These ideas are dangerous. We will now look at some movies that have these messages of Gnosticism. The first movie we will be looking at is The Truman Show.
If you haven't seen The Truman Show, it's about a man named Truman Burbank who was adopted by a television studio after he was born. He lives his whole life inside of a fake world called Safe Haven Island, which is really an enclosed set. Everyone else is an actor in this place except for Truman, and the whole world watches his life. We can view this contrived world as our creative world that, in the Gnostic view, needs to be escaped to find salvation.
Early on in the movie, we see Truman discovering that things aren't right in this world. They're even beginning to fall apart. A woman called Lauren, her real name is Sylvia, is an actress who reveals to Truman that his life is a sham used to entertain others. This character can be seen as Sophia in Gnosticism, who reveals the hidden knowledge.
No matter how much the film crew tries to dissuade Truman from leaving the island, Truman finally gets on the boat to find his escape. We see the director named Christoph, who is frustrated about Truman's discovery, and even gets to the point where he almost drowns him with the simulated storm. It's important to mention that Christoph's name spelling is very close to Christ. Christoph speaks to Truman from the sky like God, wanting him to stay on the set, but Truman is able to find the exit at the top of the set of stairs.
Christoph in the story resembles a demiurge trying to keep Truman on Safe Haven Island. He's more worried about the welfare of his show than for Truman. Despite his attempts, Truman is able to find his enlightenment at the exit and find his salvation. These concepts are in many movies if you are looking. The next movie we will be overviewing is the Barbie movie.
The Barbie movie has some less obvious Gnostic symbolism, but it's still there. The movie starts off with showing us Barbie Land, where all the Barbies and Kens live. It's a pristine world where, for the most part, everyone gets along and everything is perfect. Even though it's perfect, it's artificial. They drink fake beverages and eat fake food and shower under pretend water.
The basic Barbie character finds that she's not able to live in peace in this land. Her arched feet flatten, her waffle burns, and she finds herself thinking of death. She has an existential crisis. Barbie is told that she needs to go to a character called the Weird Barbie to help her get back to normal by entering the real world and closing the portal. Weird Barbie can be seen as a Sophia in Gnosticism, imparting hidden knowledge.
There are also strong themes of feminism in this movie. It has the messaging of women needing to be liberated from their oppression under male dominance. Ken tries bringing back what he learned about the patriarchy in the real world to Barbie Land. We are shown the supposed struggle of women to be their true selves because of men overpowering them. The current male president of Mattel is shown as an ignorant man who is unsure of how to run the company at times and makes some flaws. He could be viewed as the demiurge.
After all their adventures, Barbie meets the inventor of Barbie, Ruth Handler. Ruth gives her more hidden knowledge and offers to allow Barbie to become a person and live in the real world. By the end of the movie, Barbie gains her liberation from the artificial world and is set free, finding her salvation. There are many movies that promise escape through this hidden knowledge from a flawed world that presents itself as a utopia.
As Christians, we need to remember that God reveals himself through his word. Many people call themselves spiritual but refuse to believe in Jesus and be saved. True salvation and hope come from Jesus Christ alone. Are there any movies where you have noticed these themes of Gnosticism? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content.
See you next time.